She's going up.
Oh, she's falling.
Over here. Up
Oh, she
here.
actually making it?
Yeah, she's sitting up there though. She's really hard.
190.
Oh my god. Oh.
Enemy down.
Ulti here.
Alternator here.
I have no idea why I'm showing his finisher right now. We all know what happened to this guy. Let's just jump right into the video. Alright guys, it's Smooth here, back with another video. So today I wanted to talk about my sensitivity. What do I currently use? What gameplay settings I currently run, video settings, and button layout. So that's what today's video is going to be about. It was highly recommended that I make a YouTube video about this. Also, if you're new, like and subscribe. It does help me out. It does help the channel out a lot so I can put out some new content for you guys. All right, let's jump right into it. Let me show you guys my settings here. So I'll go over my gameplay settings first. I'll just go down. Interact prompt style, that's a default. Button hints on. Crosshair damage feedback off. Damage numbers stacking. Ping faded. Obituaries on. Minimap rotation on. So this I have off. Weapon auto cycle on empty because I tend to switch my gun by myself, like purposely when my gun runs out of ammo. And if the game does it for me, I tend to switch back because it does it for me the first time. I tend to switch back to the gun that has no ammo. Then it switches back for me again, and it's just a mess. So I just leave it off. I'd rather rely on myself to know, okay, I'm out of ammo. Let me switch. Auto sprint I have on. Some people play with this off, but I have it on only because I have my tap strafing. I have my tap strafing binded to my left click. I basically can't have it on, which I can show you guys in another video. I'm gonna make a YouTube video about the tap strafing and how to have it on the analog. Double tap sprint off. Jetpack control. I don't use Valkyrie, so somebody told me to put this on hold, so I just left it on hold just in case I ever do use her. Incoming damage feedback, I have it on 3D. Taking damage closes death box or crafting menu. This is really key right here, guys. So in order for you to hit an armor swap while running, have this in the making. Like, I'm going to make a tip about this. I do armor swap while running in a death box on controller, or jumping into the death box, or jumping out of the death box and armor swapping like in the air or when I land. So this is key. If you have this on and you're trying to armor swap or consistently getting into gunfights, it will take you out of the box. I recommend turning this off. I definitely recommend turning this off. Pop up. I don't really mess with this setting, but I do have it on. Streamer mode. I have this off. It doesn't really matter for me. I usually have anonymous mode on. Obviously, this is all like opinionated stuff. Like when I stream, I don't want anybody like coming in my stream because they see me in a kill feed or like looking for me in the game. So I usually turn this on. Right now it's off. I'm not sure why, but turn it back on. Usage sharing, I have that enabled. Performance display on. I just want to know, as you can see in the top right hand corner, what my FPS is, what my ping is. If I'm getting any packet loss, I just like to see that continuously. Invites, I can disable that. Communication filter, everybody. Reticle. So this is another thing that a lot of people were talking about in terms of aim and how to get better. And there's a lot of videos about reticle styles. I don't have any right now. I tried one that Hal and I think Asu was using. It didn't really work for me. I feel like it was too much visual clutter. Like it just got in my way of like my target. So I don't have anything currently. If you guys have anything you recommend, or you think I should use one, you can comment down below in the video and let me know what you do recommend. I might be able to try it out. I only tried one, so definitely looking for some recommendations if it does help my gameplay. Here we go. So colorblind settings, I do not have this on. I know some people usually use colorblind settings. I don't have that on. And the rest of this stuff is just really not that important. Button layout, this is something that I recently switched to and I moved to PC. So I wanted to get better movement wise, right? Like being on zip lines, maybe a little bit of crouch spamming, left to right strafe, like something to make my movement look better overall. and to get hit less. All right, so let's go over my button layout. So my button layout is not something that people normally play on, but it's something to get used to. So evolved is one of the default controller presets, which is very similar to what I play on. It's basically the same thing, except I have my tactical and my ping button switched. So what it is I jump with LB, which is L1 if somebody uses a PS4 controller or a PlayStation 5 controller. I do have basically like button puncher, where like I can crouch in a def box because I have mine on the right stick, which most people do have. But I use my paddle, my left paddle, to crouch. Interact and reload is the same. Psycho weapons are the same. This is the same. The two left and right triggers to ADS and to shoot. My tactical button is RB. Most people have it as LB or L1. I just found my jump easier to be LB. So this being on the right side, it's just something to get used to. It's really not that hard. The only thing you have to get used to is your ping not being R1 or RB, because if you ping something, you usually use your analog to kind of cycle what you want to ping, right? Like if you're going to attack here, you tell your randoms or something, you're going to attack over here. Or if you want to ping that there's an enemy there, or just regularly ping. Being on A, you have to kind of play claw. So you have to reach your thumb over and continuously hit A at the same time. It's somewhat difficult if you don't play claw to get used to, instead of it being on your R1 RB. So that's something to get used to. That's the only thing that's pretty much kind of difficult if you're not used to it. Everything else is pretty good. Basically, whatever your ping and your tactical ability is combined is your ultimate. That's the way it works. That's why it's RB and A for my ultimate. It's just these two put together. Stick layout is on default. Interact, reload is on tap to use, and reload is whatever it normally is on. I definitely don't recommend using hold. It just like to hold to do anything, it just like slows you down. If you are running out of ammo and you're in a bad spot, like you're behind a teammate that's down, I definitely recommend, like if you have one bullet left in your mag, don't move out of the way to go reload. I would definitely recommend just shoot your last bullet out of your gun and then hit the same button again, whatever you shoot with, and then it'll automatically reload your gun. If you're on a door, if you're on like, even if you have like 6 bullets left and you have a lot of ammo, I definitely recommend just shooting and just reloading your gun that way. Crouch button, I have that on hold like I said before. Aim button on hold as well, that's just ADSing. Survival slot button I have on. Trigger dead zones, none. Menu cursor speed is something I wanted to talk about as well, because menu cursor speed, a lot of people think they have to have this high, and I can't do it in the range right now. But if you do have this high, like I've noticed there's a lot of people that have this either halfway is pretty good, but anything above halfway, I see a lot of people missing stuff in a def box. You don't want to be in a def box on controller longer than you need to be. So you don't want to be in a def box getting shot by somebody trying to get an armor swap and you miss the armor swap because your sensitivity in the box is too fast. Like that's something that's like, I can armor swap really, really fast on this cursor speed. So don't feel like you have to have this all the way up to be able to armor swap fast. You just don't. So here comes the good part. So I play on default type settings. I don't play on ALCs currently. I do have ALCs that would work for some people that want to use ALCs. I mean, ALCs are pretty much just very, very customizable. They are good if you find ones that work for yourself. But me currently, I'm using 5.4 classic, no dead zones. No dead zones is just because, you know, it's better for aim control. But if you do have stick drift, I recommend putting the dead zone to small. My stick drift is very, very minimal, so I don't really feel like I need dead zones. 5 is, or 6, obviously they're pretty good for like movement in terms of like turning around and being able to, you know, like do a 180 and look at somebody, right? Or if you're on a zip line, you can have pretty sturdy movement on a zip line, right? But if you want better hip fire, I definitely recommend going to 4.4. Just because this is what a lot of pro players use. A lot of people do not use ALCs that I watch actively, that are pro players. Just because the sensitivity just works. Like, it's just very, 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 very good. You can still move a fair amount. To me personally, I just feel like the 4 is very good for hip fire, but it's not fast enough. It just feels like I'm dragging my stick too much. That's just me. That's why I switched to 5. That's why I play on 5 currently, and my hip fire is still really, really good. On this sensitivity. Movement dead zones on small, inverted look is on off, vibration off. Vibration just distracts me so much. I go into my video settings a little bit. If you're on PC, I mean, this might stretch resolution might help you out a little bit. Full screen, I play on full screen. 16 by 10, 1680 by 1050 is my resolution. Brightness, I have it up to 50%. If it's too bright, it just messes with my eyes and I get a headache in the long run. FOV's on 110. FOV ability scaling, that's like if you're in your Bloodhound ult or if you're in Octane Stim, it increases your FOV and it just threw me off every single time. So I just turned it off. Sprint view shake is on minimal. VSync disabled. NVIDIA reflex, I do have an NVIDIA GPU, so that's on. Texture streaming budget I have on high. Aliasing I have on TSAA. I have everything else on low, like except for my model detail. Everything else is low or disabled. The reason for this is because I do not want to put any extra stress on my GPU and CPU, so my frames literally stay at 144. They're at 143 right now because I cap them at 144, but because to avoid controller input delay, I keep my frames at 144. So I guess I can show you guys some how my sensitivity works and what's the best way to control. No matter which sensitivity you end up using, the best way to control your weapons. So that's just standing still. Now, I have no stabilizer on my gun right now. The best thing to do to control recoil is to strafe it out. I know you guys seen a lot of people that have like a one-way strafe. If you're strafing one direction, say I'm gonna go left, right? If I pull my analog slightly to the right, there's like no recoil on my gun whatsoever. Like I can use something even like a R9, right? Which tends to have a lot of recoil. Not really up close, but like my gun really doesn't have any recoil if I continuously do that. You can still do this the other way as well. It doesn't always have to be in one direction. It can be in either direction, left or right. Another thing I recommend with this sensitivity is getting used to like the wingman. Don't mind my skin. I haven't gotten a wingman skin on this account yet. Getting used to the wingman is something that I highly recommend. A lot of pro players that are good on controller, they do use the wingman for a reason. It's really hard to be hit while you're strafing with the wingman or get one clipped by somebody, even if they're on controller as well, because the strafe is so good. The strafe is, you can get wide strafes with the wingman, right? Compared to like even a SMG, right? Like SMGs you can get pretty good strafes with. But if I switch to a say a 301, like a assault rifle, I'm really slow. So you can get really good beams with the 301, but you're also an easier target to hit. Now, if this guy right here was strafing like crazy with the wingman and doing a little crouch to it, it'll be hard for me to one clip him. And if he hits me 4 or 5 times with the wingman, I'm pretty much dead. Especially if he hits some headshots in between, I'm dead even quicker. So the reason why I've been using the wingman so much is it's really hard to be hit, and it's not that hard to get used to hitting your shots with the wingman. It's really not that hard. As long as you have some good movement and let the movement do the aiming for you sometimes. Now, if this guy right here was using a assault rifle and he's standing still because he has hardly any strafe, I'm letting my strafing do the aim for me. See, like, if I continuously come back to the middle here, I hardly have to do any adjusting unless somebody's like moving really, really well. That's when you have to get used to like flicking and stuff. But if I let my movement do the aiming for me, the wingman's really not a hard gun to use. It's really not. My audio settings, I'm a master volume at 85. I've heard that from somebody that you can hear more audio overall in the game if you leave it at 85 and not max it out, because there's a lot of audio clutter in this game. Too much going on. We all know Apex audio is terrible, so nothing you can do about that. Yeah, I pretty much have this all down. The lobby music, when I'm streaming or anything, I don't like to have lobby music in the background, and I don't really like any of the Apex songs anyways. Dialogue, very, very low compared to like what it was before. Sound effects, I should probably have this down a little bit, but I have it all the way up, and this stuff is pretty much not important. Oh, also, what I did want to add with the wingman was that if you put a little crouch to your wingman, right, you can see my crosshairs, they get smaller. The crosshairs are these white lines like in front of me, right? My crosshairs get smaller. So there's a lot of people that do use the wingman and add a little crouch to every shot they take, right? I'm crouching every shot I take right here, because on an enemy's POV, your movement looks pretty insane. Like, I've seen myself kill somebody like when I was doing my TTV reactions video, and my strafe and my movement looked insane. So doing this every shot helps out a lot in terms of you not getting hit, right? But also, if you do it while you're hip firing, my crosshairs do get smaller, so it's easier to like, it's easy. I don't know if you've seen I watch Stay Naughty and I watch Designful a lot. They do that every single shot. I do it while I hip fire, and I'm pretty sure it's the same reason they do it, is because it's easier to hit a target if your crosshairs are smaller, right? Your hip fire. That's just another tip when it comes to hip firing. So I understand we're talking about a sensitivity video, but that's just a little tip there. So I will be making more videos in the future. I'm gonna make a controller movement guide video, and how my button layout has helped me move better, as well as more TTV reaction videos. I will be reacting to other gameplay as well, such as like high kill games and stuff like that. So be sure to look out for that on the channel. Also, if you see anything that I missed, I will try to recreate these type of videos every season or so. Feel free to add it in the comments below, and I will try to update the videos so that I can, you know, continuously create better content for you guys. So with that being said, if you like the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace.